see what's going to happen with us back, but it's a British flag.
You've lived in Torry
50 years.
So in your lifetime you've seen so much change. Do you feel like you've been consulted on that?
No, not at all.
We're here because we feel like the decisions that are being made about us don't include us. And part of why very bad decisions are being made is because people, and all of us included, don't always know how to come together and have good meetings.
How do communities reclaim power? But we also need to hold people like the council accountable for really bad decisions that have just been done with apparently very little thought or understanding, certainly, of what's been going on for people here.
If it wasn't for the pollution, this would probably be one of the most sought after areas in Aberdeen. Originally it was a garden city where many of the original homes actually had gardens. It's almost like a little island within Aberdeen. We're very, very lucky. We've got a lot of good things here. Unfortunately, they're slowly being taken bit by bit. This has started since the 1970s. If you look at the history of it, with the oil and gas, people might have gone to Footy or Fittick, some people might call it, and those lovely little homes there. But we used to have those in Torry as well, but they got knocked down for building a harbour, and we're losing more and more, and that's impacting on our health. 13 years less life than on the average people living in the West End, and 20 to 25 years lower good quality of living because of the pollution in this area.
They take a bit of Torry and then they take a bit more, and gradually it disappears. But Torry now feels disconnected from the sea. But there's poor insulation in houses, there's lots of HGVs on the road.
You don't even care what this energy transition zone is. I'm still near that. What is it?
It just shows that they think the people of Torry are irrelevant and that they feel that they can do what they want. Angry. It makes me feel angry that the powers that be think they can just do whatever they want.
And there are those who just believe, still mistakenly, that you can believe the council, the government and others will do all the things they promise to do. And experience keeps showing that they make political promises and things don't happen.
Even the consultations, it's not real consultations. They've already made up their minds before it gets to that stage.
ETZ have got £53 million from the UK and Scottish governments. They're getting permission to take a third of the park without actually saying what they have specifically going on to do with it.
We need obviously the Aberdeen City Council to be part of this. We need the developer, we need the ETZ and the Harbour Board around the table on this. We have to have that conversation.
A small part of St Fittick's Park is needed by ETZ because of its location next to Aberdeen South Harbour. ETZ will work closely with the community to minimise the development of St Fittick's Park, but maximise the impact in terms of jobs in a way that ensures ETZ are protecting and enhancing biodiversity and looking at other facilities that will enhance the park overall. And ETZ make three basic arguments for why they want to do this in their literature. The first is that it will only be a third of the park that will be taken, and that it's needed to develop the energy transition zone that needs to be here because of its location next to harbour. The second is that because there's a climate crisis, the transition zone, and especially this quayside space for offshore wind, etc., is needed to tackle it.
You know, to think that communities are having to battle for green spaces during, like say, a climate breakdown is just absolutely beyond reason.
What also struck me was that when we were getting the summary of the ETZ proposal, it all sounds very good. You know, it's a very slick thing that they're saying, but it's spurious. As soon as you drag the curtain away a little bit, you can see how empty it is. And I think when somebody said, oh, well, they're taking a small part. Well, a bird is not a small part.
Well, I invited them directly, the CEO, on Monday in front of 300 people at the business breakfast.
So it just doesn't make any sense at all. The good news is the rich people who are doing this don't live here, so it won't affect them at all. So we need to be thankful for that.
And I'm really angry because of obviously what's happening, but I'm also angry because ETZ Limited decided not to come. 2 years ago we asked them to come and present their plans, and they said that the plans weren't ready, so they didn't want to come. Since that time, it's been 2 years, and they've said exactly the same thing, that the plans are not ready. So I'm going to leave that up to your own conclusions, like what that actually means.
I've been in Torry a long time, since 1978, and I've watched all this happen. We used to have a really good place. They've just, look, they've done that. We've got and that's at the school. We've got the airplane engine, that's getting done. We've got the sewage works. We've got the fish meal factory. Everything, every place. We had the rubbish dump there. That's here. That's been going on for years, and it's just been done. All the methane, they can't build on it because of the methane. And now they're wanting to take all this off us. I come down here nearly every day with her. My daughter was down here the day. Everybody walks their dogs down here. Kids come down to play. They used to go and catch tadpoles in the burn down there. And they're taking it all away, and we've got nothing.
Really, really serious about energy transition. They should know what they're trying to. So if they're going to come and say, we want some of your part, at least tell us exactly what you want it for, and tell us how this community is going to directly benefit from losing such a valuable, I'm not even going to call it asset, because that's just like shy economic language. It's a valuable green, thriving, living space.
So to call it a zone is just marketing and rubbish. And it really angers me that we've been selected yet again to sacrifice our space and our heritage and our nature for money. And I'm really pissed off about it. Sorry, I'll get a bit emotional. If you all know me, you know I do cry a bit. So to say what we are now responsible for the Aberdeen's thriving economy if this zone goes ahead, and that's a hell of a responsibility to put in the community. If you don't give us this, Aberdeen will fall. That is the message that we've been getting. The fact it's for jobs and it's for our community benefits as well, through jobs and, as I say, community benefits. I've got a real problem with that because it's basically the carrot to say, again, give us this and you'll get this. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the promises. I'm sick of the fact our land's not returned to us from the later years when the harbour was built. I'm sick of them saying you can have this paltry compensation is what it is.
Like, for example, me having kids, this is the only playground. We have one more on Victoria Road, but it's so dirty and dangerous because the youngsters are going and getting have bottles there and stuff. So this is the only place where I can come with kids here, and that's it. You know, you go to different areas in Aberdeen and they have beautiful parks like Westburn, Dathie, etc. We don't have anything except of this place.
Me and my colleagues decided we needed to write an open letter addressed essentially to the Council and to the Scottish Government. We were astounded and shocked at the decision to change the planning regulations for the park here and to plan for industrialisation of the park. Do you think anybody on the board of the ETZ lives next to a factory, next to a sewage works, next to a railway line even, next to an industrial harbour, next to an incinerator, next to all of those things? Do you think anybody on the ETZ board wants to bring up their children next to those things? Does anybody actually know what they want that land for? Nobody knows.
But Aberdeen's never been a forward-thinking city. It's just gone from one industry into another, and it's been lucky. Their luck's running out. They have no forward thinking at all, none whatsoever.
Torry's my home. And you're here today, Linda posed this question earlier. Why are you here? Because you care. And there's some people who just don't understand that. There are people who care about where they live, what it means in terms of their environment, what it means in terms of the air we all breathe. And did anybody catch the fumes from the sewage works again this morning? That's not gone away, despite all the promises.
I find it difficult to trust the authorities, and because it's not the first time. We seem to always be against each other when we could work together.
Just to say that even if it is about energy transition, and it's very probably not, you still don't have to want it. It is your part, and working class communities didn't create the climate crisis. It was big business that did, and they're not building it in their homes and their offices. They're not repurposing anything else. So I think there's a real tendency for the whole narrative to be framed around, oh well, it is a climate crisis, so you will have to give up. You don't have to give up your park. It's an incredibly sustainable, environmentally sustainable piece of land, and you don't have to give it up. Ask them to give something else up instead.
What the ETZ would look like if the park was not included. Their response was the ETZ would be sort of inconvenienced, but could still be facilitated. So you do not require, and there's other examples we have of that, impact on the park to facilitate an ETZ.
So when you move to Aberdeen, yeah, you made a point, and when you move to Aberdeen, it's like if there's something going on, it matters which part of Aberdeen is to carry the load. If you're talking about Old Aberdeen, for example, the noise that will be made against that thing is really huge. Because we who move into Aberdeen, we are told avoid Torry. So if whatever is being done against the city, if it's being done in Torry, then it won't get the noise that it deserves, because perception has already been created against Torry.
So it is about transparency, it's about having some base level knowledge of the planning system, which people generally don't have. And I set up a climate clinic as part of the Grampian Community Law Centre to advise people on planning issues at grassroots level, so that I can try and empower them to overcome these environmental access to justice issues.
The ETZ has now for a number of years had a proposition around what's called the energy transition zone. It's a part of a broader regional plan to change the economy of the city, move it out of oil and gas to a more renewables, green technology type future. And that's great, and I really think Aberdeen does need a project like the energy transition zone. But that's something which should be across Aberdeen as a whole. It should focus on the industrial brownfield sites, of which there are many, just here in Tullos and Altons, and also in northern parts of Aberdeen. But also the community, Torry, needs a St. Fittick's Park. And in my mind, it makes no sense to have a wild, rewilded, award-winning, biodiverse community, important for the community, a cherished space, be taken out as a part of that energy transition zone.
Heard something like that, but I'm not too sure what's actually happening, to be honest with you. I think it's quite cool, to be honest. I come here to walk my dog quite often, that's what I'm doing just now. I think it would be quite sad, to be honest, just because a lot of families come here, parents with their kids and stuff like that,
Yeah.
come here, kids play. The skate park's quite popular often. I skate myself, so like I use the skate park quite often, to be honest, with a lot of friends.
I would like to see this part left as it is. Yeah, the green part. Not so much the houses, not that could be done a lot more with, but the green space, leave it alone.
This land belongs to those that care for it. We feel that step by step, the park is going to be destroyed.
We are raising our voices and fighting back with passion and commitment.
What's the problem? We get dumped on. We get what they don't want.
They don't respect our community, our heritage, or our green spaces.
They take a bit, then they take a bit more.
We try to say no, but we are never listened to.
What does Torry need?
We need control over our lives and our land.